Good morning, everybody. Big heads up if you're in the deep south. Picking up where we left off just a couple of days ago. More tornadoes, as you can see where we are right now. Southern Alabama, heading into Georgia. This is the area. This is the hot spot right now. Multiple tornado warnings as I do this video south of Montgomery, Alabama, in the, Brewton area. Tornado warning expires in 24 minutes. Issued by the National Weather Service out of Mobile, Alabama. Tornado warning for northeastern Escambia County in central Alabama, southeastern Kanuka County in south central Alabama. At 11:15 a.m., that would be local time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles south of I-65 and AL 113, or 8 miles west of Brewton, moving east at 45 miles per hour. 3/4 inch hail, tornado radar indicated. And that's right here in this area, and they are advising to take cover now. That would be an interior room with no glass, or a basement would be an ideal location. You can see a strong line of thunderstorms here moving to the east at around 45 miles per hour. That one there has probably got some larger hail in it. Half inch, not necessarily a big deal, but I would say there's bigger than half inch in the center of that storm in the tallest parts. That would be your pinks and dark burgundies, 50, 60,000 footers. And they are moving into the Georgia area rather quickly. Atlanta, I think Atlanta's in, Atlanta. They're south of Atlanta right now, headed towards Columbus, Macon. All of those areas are in Georgia. Here's another tornado warning. Looks like it's pretty much in a rural area, which is good. Small community of Midway is the only one I can see in this warning that expires in 37 minutes. This is the newest one. Tornado warning for southern Bullock County and northwestern Barber County in southeastern Alabama. National Weather Service out of Birmingham, Alabama. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Linwood, 8 miles northeast of Troy, moving east at a whopping 50 miles per hour. Tornado that was radar indicated, not confirmed yet on the ground. 3/4 inch hail, and they're advising if you're in the path of this storm to take cover now. And as always, that's an interior room with no glass to protect yourself from potential flying debris or the glass itself if it were to be damaged by flying debris. That way you'll be in the best position you can possibly be during these very strong storms. Looks like it's going to be an active spring. Already has been an active spring. And more than likely it's going to remain that way. We've been in an active pattern. Looks like we've got more storms over here starting to gain momentum around the Hartford area. And that would be in far south eastern Alabama, just above the Florida Panhandle. And there are some in the Florida Panhandle. Our friend Brian from Navarre, Florida. Don't see any storms directly over Navarre right now, sensing here on this sound, but they can probably see the storm clouds from Navarre moving east northeast at about 33 knots, 35 mile an hour, and they're gaining momentum, so we're going to keep an eye on these for a while. Strong line of thunderstorms moving towards Athens, Georgia, south of Atlanta. Atlanta's getting some rain right now, but not much. Maybe a sprinkle here and there. But south of Atlanta, getting some respectable rain, heavy showers, severe thunderstorms. See what the warnings are. This one expires in 4 minutes. So almost out of the woods there, but there's a line of thunderstorms behind this system, so more than likely it will be continued. 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Kind of hail, they're talking. 3/4 inch hail. That's not a good combination. Locations include Griffin, McDonough, Jackson, Stockbridge, Hampton, Lovejoy, Locust Grove, Lithonia, Brooks, Jenkinsburg, Orchard Hill, Sunnyside, East Griffin, Blacksville, Ola, Walker Mill, Arabia Mountain, Hidden Valley Park, Rover, and Luella. A lot of activity in that storm right there. Moving again to the east. That one there is moving at 59 knots. So moving rather quickly and gaining momentum as they're moving. So a strong line of thunderstorms, and basically right now that's the only action that we're seeing, but that doesn't mean that more isn't on the way. Just getting started, actually. Strong storm moving towards Andalusia, Carolina, and again, this is in southeastern Alabama. Now we've got severe thunderstorm warnings in the Florida Panhandle that actually those are not on radar. We need to take a look at those. We need to hop on the Mobile radar, which we're going to do right now. Yeah, new line of thunderstorms affecting now the Florida Panhandle. They weren't earlier. New severe thunderstorm warning expires in 47 minutes. And that would be north of Gulf Shores, Dauphin Island, just north of Pensacola. See what they're looking at here. National Weather Service out of Mobile has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for east central Baldwin County, northeastern Santa Rosa County, and northwestern Florida, and Escambia County in northwestern Florida. Baldwin County is in southwestern Alabama. At 10:54 a.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 4 miles east of Bay Minette to 4 miles south of Stapleton. Moving east at a whopping 55 miles per hour. Wind gusts of 70 miles per hour are possible, and you can expect some hail associated with these storms. 70-mile-an-hour winds and 3/4 inch hail, tornado possible in these storms. In fact, let's take a look and see if we can possibly detect some rotation. What are we looking at here? Don't see any yet. That's a good thing. We've all been in severe thunderstorms, but yeah, don't see anything yet, which is good. But still, 70-mile-an-hour winds are tropical storm force. They're 70-mile-an-hour winds. Those are strong. All these storms are moving east at around 50 miles per hour. Anywhere from 40 to 55, just depends. Several severe thunderstorm warnings through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and, well, 7, 8, 9. Now we've got severe thunderstorm warnings in the Atlanta area. I'm going to check those out here in just a moment, just making sure there was no tornadic activity in the Florida Panhandle. Don't see any yet. In fact, there's a long line of storms back in through here, extending all the way back to the New Orleans area, just offshore of New Orleans, moving inland towards the Florida Panhandle. Now we've got, that's the same tornado warning. Now we're going to go up by Atlanta. See how these storms are looking up here. Here we go. Oh, wow, there's a long, look at that. That's a big old roll cloud. Now, if you were on the ground looking at that, that is a classic roll cloud. Look at that thing. That is huge. 85 miles long. Unreal. That's a photogenic storm if you were back here out of the way, but that just went through the Atlanta area. It got several severe thunderstorms on the south side of it, not necessarily the north. See if there's any hail. Severe thunderstorm warning expires in 29 minutes. That would be south and east of Atlanta, moving east-northeast towards Athens, Commerce, Jefferson, Crawford, Watkinsville, Monroe. National Weather Service out of Peachtree City, Georgia. Severe thunderstorm warning for multiple areas in central Georgia, north central Georgia, multiple counties. As you can see, that's covering a very wide area. Storms well over 100 miles long, capable of producing 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Could possibly produce a tornado. Tornado possible, 3/4-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Intense thunderstorm lines can produce brief tornadoes and widespread significant damage. Although a tornado is not immediately likely, it is best to move to an interior room on the lowest floor, preferably a basement if you have one. If you see wind damage, hail, or flooding, wait until the storm has passed. Stay indoors. These are strong storms. 1, 2, still got 2 tornado warnings. This one expires in 28 minutes, and that is in southeastern Alabama, moving towards, let's see here, actually the state line, the Alabama-Georgia state line, south of Columbus. That would be Columbus, Georgia. This one here expires, that's a tornado warning, expires in 12 minutes, and that's from the National Weather Service out of Mobile, also in actually south central Alabama. Communities, it looks like it's in a rural area, pretty much out in the middle of the countryside, so that's the best place, as long as there's no homes in the way, for a tornado. A lot of activity on the map, and these storms just started gaining momentum in the last hour and a half. Strong line of storms. Barnesville, that's in Georgia. Very heavy activity there. And there's where the National Weather Service is at in Peachtree, right there. These storms are in the 30,000 foot range. Not super tall, but that doesn't mean that they can't produce very strong winds, heavy rains. They're obviously getting heavy rains here. And Atlanta doesn't necessarily, and this entire area, does not necessarily need any more rain. I think the ground is very saturated in through here. The new tornado warning right here near Midway. No, that one's the... Oh, this is a new one. Now we're back to the Florida Panhandle. All right, we got to go to Pensacola. Here we go. New tornado warning in the Florida Panhandle. So if you're in the Florida Panhandle, be prepared. See if we can get this on the radar. We got to go to Mobile. Hold on. Sorry. All right, there we go. All right, new tornado warning just east of Mobile, Alabama. Moving into the Florida Panhandle. Communities in the path, or potentially in the path, are Crestview, Molino. Let's see what the warning says. It expires in 40 minutes. National Weather Service out of Mobile has issued a tornado warning for central Baldwin County and southwestern Alabama, northwestern Florida Panhandle until 11:45 a.m. Central Time. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located 8 miles east of Stapleton or 9 miles southeast of Bay Minette, moving at 45 miles to the east. Hazard tornado, flying debris could be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Move to an interior room with no glass or a basement. They're advising people to take cover now. And this was a radar indicated rotation. 3/4-inch hail, high winds. Let's see if we can find it right here in this area. We're going to go look. I can tell right there. See the intake right there? That's more than likely where it was at, right there. That's probably what they saw. Let's see if we can see it. Yep, right there it is. Sure enough. See that bright red? That's air moving opposite of each other in a strong way. Left to right, right to left. Let's look at the coalition coefficient. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Doesn't necessarily mean it's on the ground, but oh, yeah, there's a tornado there. So if you're in the Florida Panhandle, look up. Oh, my, look to the west. If you're in Mobile, look east. Rotating clouds right there. I totally see why they put up that tornado warning. Good call. That's western Florida Panhandle, north of Pensacola. Rotation in the clouds right there. Absolutely. May not be on the ground, but that doesn't mean that it can't come down to the ground. I've actually seen that. I've seen a rotating twister that was horizontal, and then all of a sudden it decided to go vertical. I've actually seen it. So that could be what's going on here. I don't know, but I can see intake there, and there is definitely rotation in that system. That's in the western Florida Panhandle, north and slightly west of Pensacola, due east of Mobile, about probably 15 miles, I'm thinking, maybe, no, actually more than that. Well, the rotation's around 30 miles due east of Mobile, Alabama. So a lot of activity, and this will continue for quite some time. More than likely, daytime heating will probably influence these storms as they move to the east into Georgia, more than likely South Carolina by later on this afternoon. And of course the northern Florida, not necessarily, well, the Florida Panhandle, and then North Florida, southern Georgia, and of course South Alabama. And it looks like it's extending back into parts of southeastern New Orleans, and I don't see it anywhere else. It's not by Baton Rouge, just mainly southeastern Louisiana in the New Orleans area. But tornado warning in the Florida Panhandle. Big heads up. Definitely a rotating cloud right there. No doubt about it. Right there it is. It's in the Florida Panhandle, moving north of the Pensacola area. How's it going, Ken? Thank you, Ken. It's very kind of you. Got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings moving through South Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, tornado warnings extending two different locations, Florida Panhandle and Alabama. The one up by Atlanta, or at least southwestern Atlanta, has expired, but they've still got severe thunderstorm warnings in place. All these storms are moving east, northeast. It just depends on which storm you're looking at, but in that general direction at around 40, 45, some 50. We saw one that was moving 55 miles per hour. Saw one the other day that was moving 70 miles an hour. Unreal. Don't see that yet in these storms, but definitely rotation here east of Mobile, Alabama. Just measured that, and that would be about 30 miles due east of Mobile, just north and west of Pensacola. I didn't measure how far from Pensacola. Let's take a look. About the same, around 30 miles northwest of Pensacola. And, oh, now they just put up a whole new set of tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at least. New storm tracks developing back in the southeastern Louisiana area. Some of them are offshore, moving inland into the Florida Panhandle, deep South Alabama area. And these storms will track inland. That's what they've been doing for the last, I don't know, hour and a half or so. Looks like they're moving in a east-northeasterly direction right up in through here. And looks like they could be going back into this area too. So we're going to check out both areas, see what they could potentially do. 2 tornado warnings right now. One expires in 19 minutes. That's in southeastern Alabama. Another one expires in, let's see if we can get back to it here. Definitely had rotation in this one, 34 minutes. No doubt about it. We saw it. In fact, let's check on it again. Right there. There is definitely rotation there. Whether it comes down to the ground or not, that's a whole nother story. Let's see if it's still there, if it's getting stronger. Oh, yeah. Still there. Definitely rotation. So it's moved south of the warned area. It was up in here, that little rectangle shape. It's moving this way now towards Molino. Yeah, there's definitely a vortex there. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Right there, sure enough. So big heads up if you're in that area. Molino. Looks like Molino is in the Florida Panhandle. So busy in there, I can't see the state line. I think that's in the Florida Panhandle. And that's where that storm is kind of moving towards in that general direction, Molino. And other areas that are in the potential path. I'm not saying that they're going to see a tornado. Like right now in Milton, there's hardly a cloud in the sky. It's not even raining. But just west of Milton, northwest, there's a tornado. Possibly in the sky, but it's nevertheless, it's there. And it's moving. So big heads up if you're in that area. Let's go check. Well, I don't want to go into that one just yet. Boy, this whole area is under a severe thunderstorm warning. Look at that. See if we can see how big of an area. 140 miles. And probably more than that. That's just what we're looking at here. That goes up over 200 miles. That's a long line of thunderstorms. Severe thunderstorms at that. Several offshore, moving inland towards the areas of Laguna Beach, Panama City Beach. That would be Florida coast. Destin, got storms moving just south of Destin right now, but right into the area of Miramar Beach. Some heavy thunderstorms. Nothing super severe, at least not yet. As long as it stays that way, it's good. You know, we've all experienced thunderstorms and even hail. Half-inch hail isn't that big of a deal. Unless it goes on for about 30 minutes, then it becomes an issue. But the other day we saw 4-inch hail. Ended up being a confirmed 4.5-inch hail event. Now there's a rotation right there, guys. No doubt about it. Looks like it's intensifying. Molino. Holy mackerel. Molino in the Florida Panhandle? Woo, my. You need to take cover. Interior room with no glass. Molino in the Florida Panhandle. Wow. That's got some major rotation. Holy mackerel. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Be careful, guys. Interior room. See if we can see debris. Not yet. That's a good thing. That tells us it's not necessarily on the ground, but there is definitely rotation there. And it's headed towards the Molino area. I don't see anything else. I'm sure there's other smaller communities maybe on the map that's not showing up here. There's so much activity I can't even see it. But that's a strong storm getting stronger, headed towards Molino in the general direction of, I'm just pointing out some that are on the map here, Crest View. It's not in the path of any storms right now, but that's what's out ahead of this storm here. Community called J Century. These are all in the Florida Panhandle. Gonzales, north of Pensacola. Strong storm due east of Mobile, about 30 miles. Long line of severe thunderstorm warnings extending from basically Athens, that would be northeast of Atlanta, all the way back into the Gulf of Mexico, southeast of New Orleans. And that would extend for probably, 250 miles? Actually, farther than that. Over 400 miles of severe thunderstorms. A long line of severe thunderstorms. And they're going to continue for a while. So if you're in these areas, be on the lookout for potential tornadoes. They're spawning pretty quickly. Like this one here. Oh yeah, it's got intake. There's rotation there for sure. Molino. Could be rotating clouds coming over your area. Hopefully they stay up in the clouds. Yeah, there's definite rotation there for sure. Headed towards Molino. Right now it's in the sky, or at least it appears that way. A lot of activity right there, so it's difficult to tell from this vantage point. You can definitely tell when there's rotation for sure, but you can't tell if it's on the ground. Now, there was one the other day that was in, where was it? It was over in Iowa. Actually, two. One in southern Missouri and one in Iowa. I could tell they were on the ground. Yeah, you can just tell. It was just so big and wide. It was a wedge tornado. It did make it to the ground. And that happens. We're all familiar with what the weather is capable of doing. So right now, severe thunderstorm warnings extending over 400 miles from the Gulf of Mexico north and east of Atlanta. And these storms will continue throughout the remainder of, well, this morning in some areas and in the early afternoon areas of others. They're moving east, northeast at about 40, 45 miles an hour. It does look like there's a storm that's got rotation coming right into the area of Molino, which is in the Florida Panhandle. Doesn't necessarily mean it's on the ground, but there's a rotating, that would be a supercell, right above Molino in the Florida Panhandle. And this energy is moving to the east about 40, 45 miles an hour, headed towards the general area of Crestview. What's the community here? Florala, Lockhart, Paxton, Laurel Hill. Carolina is right in the middle of it right now. So is this area here. All these storms are moving at a wide variety of speeds. Like this one here is moving at 43 knots. And then you go over here about 6 miles, and that one's moving at 23 knots. What a... new tornado warning. See it? That's the one we've been watching. And they extended it, and I totally see why. There is rotation right there. New tornado warning in the Florida Panhandle expires in 42 minutes. National Weather Service out of Mobile. Tornado warning for southwestern Santa Rosa County in northwestern Florida and Escambia County in northwestern Florida until noon. In fact, they just extended it even farther, I think. Or no, that was storm tracks. Okay, let me continue reading here. I don't know if this was, I'm pretty sure it was radar indicated. At 11:15 a.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. It's moving east at 45 miles an hour. West of Molino, about 9 miles. We've been watching Molino. Or 16 miles northwest of Gonzales. Radar indicated rotation. It definitely did. Goes on to say this is a dangerous storm, and it will be near Molino around 11:25 a.m. Take cover now. And that's coming from the National Weather Service. 3/4 inch hail. Radar indicated a tornado. And that is definitely spot on. There's a rotating cloud right there. Sure enough. And it's got a strong signature right there. Rotating cloud headed towards Molino, Florida, in the Florida Panhandle. Take cover. If you're in that area, interior room with no glass, basement will be perfect. And that started out as a small line of thunderstorms back near Mobile, and now it's a very strong, larger line of thunderstorms with rotating clouds, possibly a tornado. When they get like this, they can be rain wrapped and are difficult to see, even if you're on the ground. So be best just to find an interior room and be safe until this passes, because it's going pretty quick. In fact, it's on Molino now, and it will be past Molino probably in 10 minutes. Yeah, there's definitely rotation there. Looks like a thin tornado. Doesn't look like a wedge. It looks like a thin rope-like tornado. Not a land spout or a water spout, but it looks like a thin tornado. If what I'm seeing here is correct, which it normally is, these are good instruments. That's a thin tornado, which is good. That doesn't mean we have a big wide wedge on the ground mowing a path through the Florida Panhandle. We don't need that. That's not what's going on there. But there is rotation in that system that could be touching the ground. But a long line of severe thunderstorms stretching over 400 miles. From the Gulf of Mexico to north of Atlanta near Athens. And all of this energy is moving to the east-northeast at 45 miles an hour, approximately. Some 40, some 25, some 50. They all have varying degrees of forward speed. But this one right here, tornado warning for the next 38 minutes. And hopefully that remains in the sky. If it does come down to the ground, I will say that it does look narrow. Doesn't look like a big wide tornado, which is a good thing. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I got for now. These tornado warnings up here have expired. This one down here is going to expire in the Florida Panhandle in the next 37 minutes. So if I see anything, a big outbreak come on here, I'll obviously come back on. So what I try to do is to try to follow these tornadoes when we see them. But right now we're looking at mainly thunderstorms, some heavy in areas. We've watched this storm here headed towards Molino. It's there now. Could be a rain-wrapped tornado. If there is one there, I think it's narrow. Or it's up in the clouds. So big heads up if you're in the deep south, Florida Panhandle, Georgia, Alabama, parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and South Carolina, North Florida. Could see severe thunderstorms for the next several hours. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day and be safe out there.